Hi beautiful people, it's your girl Olushaya. Welcome to my channel, and today I'll be talking about reasons why your study permit can be refused. Precisely, I'll be talking for Canada because that is what I have information about. However, before we get started, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I got so much love for you. Thank you for always coming back here to get information. Thank you for always commenting, for always liking and sharing. However, if you're seeing my face for the first time, thank you for bumping into me. I'm sure you're gonna like it. So I would implore that you like, you comment. If you have any questions, you share, and don't forget to subscribe and put on your notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be one of the first people to see it. Now, let's get into the main video. So the first reason I would be discussing is your choice of program, or let me say your study plan. Basically, the visa officer wants to reason with you. He wants to understand with you why you would like to study the course you have chosen. Yes, a lot of people just want to leave their home country for the sake of living, maybe because they feel things are not going well with them and they think the only option is leaving for Canada or the UK. Now, in doing that, you really need to do that with your head and think very well. That might be your reason, but you still have to be like tactical and use a lot of wisdom in choosing that course for yourself. To do this, you actually need to look at your educational background and your work history if you have any. Now, let me cite an example. Let's look at someone who studied nursing from his home country, and he also has work experience in nursing, maybe let's say between 2 and 5 years. And all of a sudden, that kind of guy wakes up and says, I want to study travel management. Now, let's reason it together. To me as a person, it doesn't resonate. To you as a person, does it click? Like, where is the nursing and travel management coming together? I don't see how I can actually put that together and present it to someone to understand. I love traveling, so why have I not tried working in that area? Why have I been working as a nurse? So the visa officer is just like you and me, and he has to reason like, how is this thing coming together? So how do you avoid being rejected based on that? In your letter of interest, which you have to write and attach with your study application, you need to clearly state why you have chosen this course. You need to clearly explain how this is related to your educational background or how this is related to your career path. Something in all these things has to come together. Something in all this is have to have, like, let me use the bonding force, so that it can be well explanatory, so that the visa officer can have a picture in his mind of, I see why this person is coming from here, I see where he has been to and why he is going this way. It's as simple as that. Yes, you may not be able to do this on your own. That is why we have people who are licensed to help you with all these things, like immigration officers consultants rather, that are licensed and can put you through all this process. But however, you have to do your own part of the job by sitting down, thinking it out, writing it out, why you want to do this, how it resonates and all that before you can present it to someone. Yes. Now to the second reason, and that would be your letter of acceptance from a DLI. You would ask me what a DLI is. That simply stands for Designated Learning Institution. So basically in Canada, there are DLIs and non-DLIs. The non-DLIs are non-designated learning institutions. So the way I understand this, not like they are not all registered schools, they are registered schools, but some of them are not DLIs. That is why they are non-DLIs. So the way I understand this, if you go to a non-DLI, you cannot get a PGWP. That simply stands for Postgraduate Work Permits after your school. That's the way I understand it. So now, in terms of the visa officer, if you have a letter of acceptance from a non-DLI, it would affect your study permit application. In the the sense that it would not be accepted. You cannot get it because all DLIs have a number attached to them. When you are applying for your study permit, you need to put that number somewhere in your application. Your school's DLI number needs to be included in your application, and your letter of acceptance needs to be verified by the visa officer. There is a way the validity is done. Like for my school, when I downloaded my letter of application, there was like a link on it where you could click to verify that the school actually sent me that. So I believe that a lot of DLIs, if not all of them, would have something like that. So your visa officer needs to be able to verify that and see that you have a valid letter of acceptance. To avoid stories that touch the heart, when you are applying to schools, please go to the IRCC page. You can type in DLIs and you would see all the list of DLIs in the province you are trying to go to. You would see schools that are DLIs and their codes attached to them. So from there, you can make your choice on the particular school you want to, because you won't want to get it wrong from the beginning. If you get it wrong from there, then of course, why are you going to Canada? Why do you want to go to Canada when you have gotten a step wrong? So to avoid getting that wrong, please, when you want to start applying to schools, after you have made a study plan for yourself, why you want to study this course, looking for schools that have your course and you would like to go to, you need to go to the IRCC page, check for DLIs, and pick the one that you think would suit you very well. That is it. So you've made your study plan, you have applied to the school, you've gotten your admission, and now you have your letter of acceptance. Congratulations. So the next step now is applying for your study permit. And one of the major things you need to include in your study permit is your proof of funds. Now, if you have insufficient proof of funds, that could make you get rejected. So how do you work against this? Like, how do you avoid this? Basically, your proof of funds is supposed to show the money that comes in for you, the money that goes out, and how much you have at the end of the day. And in applying for your study permit, you need to present 6 months proof of fund. Yes, you heard me. 6 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You need to present that. That is what your visa officer wants to see. They want to see the frequency in money coming in, how it's been going out, how the money has been coming in large sum, in small sum, and all that. They want to see everything for 6 months. That looks crazy, right? But you may not have all the money. You may have to lend from someone may need to give to you, someone may need to sponsor you, you may need to sell your property to do that. The visa officer wants to know all of this. So in doing that, there is also something called letter of explanation of proof of funds. I'm going to break that down. When you're presenting your proof of fund, there's a kind of letter that you need to attach explaining just your proof of fund. That is different from your letter of intent explaining why you want to go and study in Canada. This letter is just for your proof of funds. If you have like money that could be suspected, let me put it that way, money is different from probably your salary or your business coming into your account or going out, you may want to explain to your visa officer why you have this kind of money coming into your accounts other than your salary. You may want to explain why this kind of money is going out of your accounts other than your house rent, your normal bills, So when you're doing all this, that is why it is important that when your money is coming into your account or leaving your account, you need to put a good description so that when you need it for things like this, you don't have the reason to shalaye every time. But in this case, you still have to give that explanation because your visa officer needs it to approve your study permit. In doing this, like I said, you just have to explain or clearly state out what these monies are for, why they are coming in, and why they are going out. And in all of this, your visa officer wants to see that you have enough money to cover your tuition, to cover your living expense, to cover logistics, maybe leaving the country and coming back. And if you're going to be moving to Canada with someone or with people, your visa officer wants to see that those people also have enough money to be cared for. Now, these monies, do they have a value? Yes, they do. How much are we talking about here? The number one thing is your tuition fee. Let's assume that you're going for a 2-year study in Canada, and each year is going to cost you, let's say, 15,000 Canadian dollars. You're not expected to have the whole 30,000 Canadian dollars in your account. No, this is how it works. Basically, when you apply and you get your letter of acceptance, the school would actually expect you to show some kind of commitment, let me say, to show that you're serious, and the visa officer also wants to see that. So you're expected to pay a particular percentage or a particular amount from your school fee. Let's say from your 15,000 per year, you are asked to pay 2,000. That's fair enough, but a lot of people would suggest that you pay like half of it, which is for a whole semester, or you pay the full for a year if you can afford that, which is the whole 15,000. So let's assume you choose to pay the whole 15,000 for a year. Now, in your proof of funds, you need to be able to show that you have the remaining 15,000 for the second year in your account. Then you also need to be able to show that you have 10,000 Canadian dollars for 1 year living expense for you as the student. That makes 25,000 Canadian dollars. That is not all. You also need to be able to show like some miscellaneous, I would say, maybe to cover your ticket fee, and if you need to come home and all that, just some little extra Canadian dollars, you need to show that. However, if you have people going with you, if you're also applying for, let's say you're married, you have 2 kids, you need to show some proof of funds for your family. For your first dependent, which I would say your husband, he needs to show 4,000 Canadian dollars plus the 25 you have, that is 29 Canadian dollars. You have 2 children. One child, let's say your first child, the second dependent, has to show 3,000 Canadian dollars plus the 29 that we have, that is 32 Canadian dollars. Now for the third child, I believe you'd be showing a 2,000 or a 3,000 too. So let's say it's a 3,000 for the third dependent. Now you have a 35,000 Canadian dollars basic fee that you should show. That is not inclusive of the miscellaneous in case something happens, in case there are emergencies. So you can see that there is a little calculation in this, and you need to be able to show that to the visa officer. He needs to see that you have this kind of money in your account somewhere, even if it's not a flowing cash like that. It could be in terms of property that you sell or something that can make you that money or come back as that money, and it has to be valid that you own this or you have access to this. Without this, I'm sorry, your visa application could be rejected. Yes. Now, for the final reason, which I'll be talking about. After doing all of this and doing every other thing right, the visa officer still wants to know, he wants to be cocksure that when you go to Canada to study and you are done, that you are going to return to your own country. Now, don't say I told you this. It's possible you are going to Canada to study and have the intention to stay permanently. It's possible, it's allowed, believe me. But when you are applying for that study permit, you need to tell them that you are leaving at the end of your study and you need to show it. So, that is why your visa officer needs to know that you leave at the end of your study. So how do you go about that? They want to see family ties. They want to see home ties. Your visa officer needs to see that after your study, you have something you are coming back to your own country to do or to meet. It could be your family. It could be a job opportunity. It could be a business. It could even be properties. Yes, as simple as it is. It could be like a plot of land that you have. So when you're applying for your study permits, all your letter that you're going to be presenting needs to explain all of this. Your letter of intent has to carry something about this while you are going to be doing that. Very soon, I'm going to be sharing my own letter of intent, what I included, the details I had, the information, the documents I submitted, so that you can see how I went through the process and how I got my study permit approved in about 3 months, I would say. Yes, I guess so. So you need to be able to explain to your visa officer that at the end of my study in Canada, I have all these things. I have the abundance of art to return to in my own country. I have my husband, my children, my job, my business, my property, my house, and a whole lot of things. It could even be as small as it is responsibilities. You could be part of a club where you are a major person. All these things actually count towards showing proof that you have something to return to, and it shows that you will return at the end of your study. So we've come to the end of this video, and I hope that you got 1 or 2 informations. Guys, watch out for my next video, as I will be talking about the documents you need to present while applying for your study permit. And don't forget to put on your notification bell so that anytime I post a video, you'll be the first to see it. See you very soon. Bye.